Thank you. Representative Womack, why did you choose 50 miles? Why not 60 miles or 70 miles?
That's a very good question, Representative. I didn't choose that. That's an IRS law and rule that anybody who lives within 50 miles of a business where they do business, in this case the state capitol, you're required to pay taxes on all per diem that you do receive. So it's not my rule, it's a federal IRS rule.
Are you a big fan of the Internal Revenue Service now?
Of course.
Okay. Well, I'm surprised you admitted that.
Actually, Representative, what I'm not a fan of is the federal government taking out of $107 of my hotel per diem and yanking about 45 of it and sending it straight to Washington.
Well, here's the problem I have with the bill. It's always hard when you're figuring per diem. The only way to really do it is do it kind of across the board. When you start picking out numbers, because it makes it inequitable. What's the difference that guy who's at 51 miles versus 50? I know it's IRS rule, and we always know they're not always fair. But you got the one that's 51 miles, he gets more money than the guy that lives 50 miles. But at the same time, that one that's at 51 miles, some of these guys drive over 200 miles getting here.
That's right.
So, that guy from 51 miles making out like a bandit compared to that. I just want to say that I think what you're doing, it makes the system totally inequitable, and I'm going to vote against you for that reason. But
I respect your opinion.
And I think we're going to have to do some more work on this in the future because of that, because I think, it needs to be fair across the board if we're going to do it.
Representative Shaw.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Sponsor yield.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
This came through our committee, and I've already made comments on it. And basically, I just want to go on record to say that I really value myself more than that. And although I live 200 miles out, but if I didn't live but 10 miles from here, for the time that I spent away from my family and having to be here and not being able to work for myself, I think it's a little off-kittle for us to take that 60 whatever dollars that is from those persons who could give it to their families. I represent a good district of people. I love them and I think they love me. But I really don't think they would frown on me by taking what little we get here. So I just want to go on record by saying I value myself more than that and the people that I represent. So for that reason, I can't vote for your legislation either. Thank you.
Further discussion.
Representative.
Representative Turner.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Will the sponsor yield?
Yes, ma'am.
Although this doesn't apply to me now because I do live 200 miles or more, I am concerned about this because, first of all, as the prior speaker has said, you cannot put a price on the loss of the time we have with our families for what we do here. I've had several occupations, but none of the occupations that I have had have I worked harder than on this particular job. And though I am not necessarily included here, if we begin to pinch penny my colleagues who live in this area, and sometimes I don't see how they are close, they're living with their family, so they have greater family responsibilities while they are here, but yet they have to be away. And because they live in the immediate area, their constituents consider them almost sometimes as if they are council persons or county commissioners because they see them every day, which means that their volume of work perhaps all of us work hard. But I just don't think, and if I may add this, I think you and I were in the reception with the governor, and he made the point that in his calculations, state legislators averaged 50 cents per hour. And I jokingly asked him, though I really wish he had agreed, if he would come and make that statement on the floor that in his calculations, we are only paid 50 cents per hour. But those of my colleagues who live in the immediate area are always confronted. They go to the grocery store. They are confronted with issues. And if they find it necessary to come to the office to deal with their constituent business or concerns, I don't think for all the time and work that we give and the sacrifices that we make, that we would begin to reduce what they get simply because they live within 50 miles. Because once we do that, then we're going to come up with another law to reduce the per diems or the miles, etc., for those who live beyond 50 miles. And for that reason, I will vote against your bill. Thank you.
Representative